Hey guys, welcome to VN Heaven. This is our second video, and this one's going to be on Root Double, which is one of the games I've been wanting to play along with Remember 11 and IO, I suppose.
And you wanted
Because
to
of
read it
you,
in
really.
Japanese, yeah, Root
Yeah.
Double, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to read the game in Japanese, which really was an issue because the latest version, I
Yeah.
guess, doesn't have Japanese.
Yeah, the
Right.
PC version,
Root
the
Double.
Switch version, every version basically is English only, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's really weird.
And yeah, I wanted to reread it in Japanese too. And yeah, we found a way, like the smartphone version, which
yeah,
is
it's called
called
Smart Edition. Yeah.
Smart Edition, yeah.
And that one's not in English, correct?
It's not.
Only in Japanese.
And it's the only version which you don't have like no choice system. But it's
Yeah, there's no
totally
choice system,
yeah.
but what's weird is I actually preferred that because I just don't really like choices in my visual novels. It's like painful
so
for
it's
me.
kind of perfect addition for you, like, and for me,
Yeah.
for rereading it's also perfect because I don't want to deal
Right.
with bad endings now. At the beginning I enjoyed it, so
Well, and Remember 11, the bad endings definitely give you some interesting background. It just
Root Double
it just
does
depends.
too. It just, but I think
Yeah.
for you in Japanese linear kind of story, I think it's perfect for you. I think you won't get annoyed about redoing some parts, so
Yeah.
that is gone.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
so for
cool.
people who, I guess most people know what Root Double is, wouldn't you say Root Double is one of the, it's quite famous, but then again, Nakazawa stuff isn't always
It's
at the
not.
top.
Honestly, it's not. A lot of people even mistake it with root letter.
Yeah,
or
that's it.
something.
Yeah, I keep telling
And-
people I got Root Double, and they're like, "Oh, the Root series." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that's
So
very
why is there a
different.
root there? Okay, wait. First, I guess for people who don't know, let's just have
Yeah.
like please explain what the game is, like
Yeah.
you know who made it, and
Yeah.
everything, and why you consider it one of your favorite or top VNs
It's
of all
probably the number one kind of. It based on my mood, but yeah, I give it a 10 on my VNDB, which I always link here. Yeah, it's basically the latest full magnum opus. Can you call it like
time.
that?
Yeah,
From Takumi Nakazawa, and yeah, his most known work is, I guess, Ever 17. He was scenario director of the Infinity series.
that's what made him famous, right?
Yeah,
Ever
Ever 17 is the one that made.
And he
Yeah.
wrote the entire scenario. It seems by himself, pretty much. Like the main concept of that game, he wrote.
Yeah,
Even if Uchikoshi wrote some
yeah, like
some of
Uchikoshi
the lines.
was like the writer of Ever 17 and maybe some ideas, but
far
overall
as the
the vision,
dialogue.
yeah, the vision is all Nakazawa, and that's the most popular one that everybody knows. That
Yeah.
knows the word visual novel. They know Ever 17. It's kind of
Yeah.
compared to that.
But our favorite of the Infinity series is definitely Remember 11.
It
Right
is,
here.
yeah.
Remember 11. But yeah.
And with Remember 11, I guess, how should I say? For me, it's like the masterpiece prototype. Like, it feels like this is like when Nakazawa really like tried to show what the vision he envisions, like the suspense. He calls them suspense in katakana.
Suspense. Oh, in
Japan.
katakana,
Yeah,
suspense.
suspense or mystery or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the first game I really feel, yeah, wow, that's really, that's Nakazawa's feeling in Rian's.
Suspense. Yeah.
And then, yeah, he created, like, with entire full vision, I guess, IO and Root Double.
Yeah, IO. Yeah, so IO came out.
In 2006, it came out. 2 years later than Remember 11. It's crazy. Like, and
Yeah.
both are very, especially IO is
IO.
very
artwork
big
right there.
visual novel. It's like 50 hours, I guess. It's around.
Yeah.
And Remember 11, a lot of people read it in only 30 hours. Actually, I'm surprised I took
Oh, it
longer
took me
to.
so long.
But you got a lot of bad endings. I guess
Yeah, I
that's
played it in
that's
Japanese.
the yeah, true.
Took me, I
Because
don't
it's
even know.
basically the shortest, and Root Double is maybe around 60 hours. It's the longest, but without the endings, the
okay,
Smart
okay.
Edition is probably also 50 hours
I
then.
wonder. Yeah. Well, anyway,
Um,
so Root Double is his most recent game. So if you're
Kind of, yeah.
if you're a fan of Ever 17, Remember 11,
Yeah, and even IO.
yeah, then
It's,
this is his most recent game, and you
it
consider
is.
it to be kind of perfect.
I
in the
I
sense
think
that-
so. The setting is most similar, I guess, to Ever 17 because it's trapped setting.
Yeah, it's like water. Yeah, Ever 17 was water.
Yeah.
It was like the Resident Evil hive underwater in
Yeah,
Ever 17.
yeah,
And this game is basically the same thing, but in like fire universe.
exactly.
Radiation and fire, but
Yeah.
it's the same
nuclear
structure.
reactor.
It's the exact
inside.
same structure underground, just not quite as deep.
Yeah, So some people
like
that
snow
I guess
and then fire. Yeah, water, snow, fire.
yeah, it's and I always preferred, I guess, like for me more I feel more danger in, I guess, radiation or like fiery places. So for me the atmosphere was even like more like the suspense was higher. So for me, but
Yeah.
than underwater. But I still fear water. But
Underwater
it's honestly
is
it's
you
still
can't compete with that like pressure from above, like you can't escape type
good,
thing.
true. I
But
guess,
you're right,
yeah.
it feels
The
really
radiation
nice.
it just feels like a really like a when you usually have a killer or something in visual novels that you feel scared. The threat in Root Double, yeah, that adds to it is the radiation, which is
Yeah.
scary. And
Yeah, radiation and fire
yeah,
and certain sections being locked off and just this kind of feel of dread because there's a time limit.
exactly, yeah.
And basically, yeah, they have to escape this place within a certain time limit, and there's
Within
radiation,
yeah,
and they have to take a drug in order to stop the radiation from building up.
exactly.
Um,
Interesting fact about
But
this.
that's not even that. Just a note for people watching. That's
Yeah.
not even the main story at all. That's just the setting. The main story, of course, is pretty crazy. I think, or pretty
It's I guess yeah. What does crazy mean?
not as
I
crazy
guess
as Remember 11. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, less crazy than IO and Remember 11, but and it's very comparable to Ever 17, but very
Cool.
different because it focused some. It goes deep into the characters' minds, so it's the
Yeah.
most in depth. Some people even call it character study. There's a part of the game
Huh.
that goes deep into the characters' minds with flashbacks, with past.
That makes
And-
me think that I should have played the one with the choices then.
The thing is, in your case, because I know what you like now, you probably prefer it in kinetic way. Kinetic novels are without choices.
Kinetic novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't
like
think
kinetic novels.
you could still like read it again with the choices, I guess. Or
Yeah, maybe in English I'll do it with the choice. I don't think so. But
Yeah.
I
it just it's nice because the original game or the extended edition uses the Enneagram and the characters are based off the Enneagram. There's 9
Yeah.
types of those, and it uses the choices in a non so standard way. I think it's well done, even if
Cool,
I don't
cool.
think it's super essential.
yeah.
But,
Okay.
it adds to the suspense that you die from the fire radiation sometimes, so it has some
Yeah.
elements that is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think it loses
Shoot.
too much. It adds
Yeah.
too much. Like the Japanese writing adds, I guess, so much because the English translation is still. While I think as non-native speaker, I think it was good to me, but I know
Yeah.
it still sounds too literal. I
Yeah, the
think.
translation, unfortunately, I think is just too literal. Same with Remember 11 and
Yeah.
I guess what else was I just
I
playing?
guess
oh,
it
and
has-
Raging Loop. That was
Oh, yeah.
that was just I can't stand it. Yeah.
We need to talk about
yeah,
that
we'll talk about
localization.
translations in a
Another
different
video,
video,
yeah.
but yeah.
Now, an interesting fact about Root Double's development, I'm actually glad it was made because Nagasawa in an interview said because it came out in 2012, 1 year after the Fukushima disaster.
And I was going to ask you about that.
He actually
Okay.
needed to edit some parts out.
It came out after, right?
Yeah, it came out after. He needed to edit some parts because otherwise he wouldn't have been maybe allowed it to release it. So,
Yeah.
but nothing
That's what
like
I was
essential.
thinking.
It seems just a bit of terms that it's not
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe the prototype was exactly like a Japanese nuclear reactor. Now it's maybe more based on Western. Who knows? But he needed to edit some parts just to make it okay to release.
Yeah. Well, it's,
And that's why they postponed it 1 year. It was actually supposed to come out during the year of that disaster in Japan, which
interesting. Yeah,
which
that's
is
pretty
very
interesting.
which got me interested before it released because while there's a lot of visual novels, especially from the same maker on trapped settings, this feels still a bit different because it's more like something that actually worldwide events happen, like a threat being
Yeah, I
trapped
mean, I would
there.
say it's even more
Chernobyl, like,
Chernobyl. Yeah, it feels kind of more relevant to what's going on today. In a way,
and with Corona,
So
it's
it
just
really, yeah. So
and like you
it's-
said, they have like the kind of a vaccine or what they used to be like
Yeah.
safe from radiation, and it's also limited in time.
Yeah,
so that
it's
makes
actually,
it very.
actually is really cool, and it makes me wish I could play this game from like a Resident Evil third-person fixed camera perspective.
That will be
like
so
I would
awesome.
have loved that in its time, where you have to take the actual.
Yeah.
In English, I have no idea. But in
Actually, I always
Japanese,
thought
yeah.
Nakazawa should do at least one, one game that there has some sort of gameplay, like walking around. Just one. I think it could do it well. Just.
I mean, I've always hated Yeah. No, that would be awesome. Yeah, I would love to play any of these games in first person. Yeah, it'd be cool if they.
Yeah.
I don't know why I want to, but it's just like when I think about Remember 11, I want to walk around that setting, and like look around first person, like click on stuff.
That would be
or
so
even
awesome.
third person.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna happen.
His new studio, like maybe you guys heard, like his friend Uchikoshi Nakazawa, and even the Danganronpa creator, Kodawa is his name maybe. They opened a new studio called Tokyo Studio. It's in Tokyo.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
they're more creating recently. The things that they released are mostly gameplay based games. So
really?
it's not really visual novel only studio. But because of COVID, a lot of stuff didn't release yet. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward what they do.
If you look at Uchikoshi's latest game, there's like some gameplay in it, AI Somnium Files. But what's funny is that's the part that I hate.
Okay.
And that's the part that everybody else criticizes on the Steam reviews and stuff. They're like,
that's
but
too
for
bad.
different reasons. I think
play
actually
it.
moving the character feels pretty cool. But it's like I either want to read or not. I don't want any in between.
I guess you don't want to like I can understand. You don't want to like solve a timer based puzzle. What is it there? Kind of. I didn't.
Yeah, there's
play
a timer
it, so,
which is funny because I said I like timers, but no, I actually hate.
I only want to look around and walk around. That's what I wish from a new generation
AI,
visual novel.
Yeah.
I don't want to solve puzzle necessarily.
Yeah, with AI, you do look around and click on whatever you want, but the problem is you have to exhaust all the options anyway. So it really like doesn't even matter what you click that much.
I see.
So it kind of feels forced, and it's like just let me read,
Yeah, for me it's just
there's an auto mode, I believe, though. So
the good thing will be if there's like a visual novel that lets you explore the room on your own, but it's optional though.
I'm thinking like Resident Evil 7 style first person slow movement.
Yeah.
And then like you can kind of like just.
One game that did that well, a visual novel, you didn't read it yet. It's a bit of outdated though. The Silver Case, you can't move around. But it's a bit, it's just so old game that the movement doesn't feel like it's very wooden.
I gave up as soon as I got to the movement part in Silver Case, but I'm gonna go back to it.
But it's cool because it offers a perspective of the rooms and stuff. It adds depth.
Yeah, no, I like that.
But modern day games don't do that.
That's one criticism I have so far of Root Double, which I guess we're not even talking about. We should keep talking about Root Double.
Yeah.
Is that the setting is this circular thing, like the Hive, or something. But it's identical. Every room is the same shape, and there's 4 floors, I believe. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like it's brilliant that he did this because it makes it so he can use the same artwork for every single floor because every room looks identical. So I'm like, okay, this is genius, but also a little bit bland. Right, but the thing, you know what I mean. So it's like every room is exactly the same cube, which is cool. One of my favorite films is The Cube, a Canadian film, independent film, in which they film the entire movie in just one box, and of course there are like thousands of cubes that the characters exit through, which is one of the oldest trap-based movies. Before Saw, the original Saw was called Cube, which was less of a brutal kind of thriller and more a societal commentary. Where it really, it's really good. The original Cube is just fantastic.
That sounds like Root Double.
Yeah, it's similar because they used just this basic ring.
Yeah.
And I don't. So yeah, I like that, but I also think it's not going to be as memorable as a game like Remember 11 setting.
I think you will be surprised because I guess the atmosphere inside the nuclear reactor it changes a lot. And not only that, I guess maybe the people that play the extended edition know you can choose between 2 routes, but it's always recommended to do root after first.
Play the guy first.
Okay. Yeah, play the
and you said the first is more thriller-like? More action,
it's more
like the second
trapped.
Is more relaxed.
Yeah, and that's why you will see there different locations because it's not. That's,
I prefer the slower pace. I like Remember 11, kind of like the mystery.
You will love Root before it's called, and a lot of people.
Is the music different at all? More relaxed music?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait.
Root before.
By the way, the music is incredible because the music is not by
Takeshi Abo.
It's not
by a new guy.
It mimics it. It uses the same bass.
I know.
Honestly, I actually like some of the tracks better than some of the Remember.
I'm glad. That's what I feel. But a lot of people's most critique is sometimes the soundtrack is not as memorable as past, but I can see it. But the sound effects make so much up for it.
It's really good
because it's such a new game, like a new visual novel.
I love it. Yeah,
so good. And Root before I think we both will like. I played it like when it came out in English, like 2016, almost now 4 years ago on Steam, and I feel you will feel the same. You will actually prefer Root before,
I'm sure I will.
but
yeah.
you will like both like I did. But Root
Yeah.
before, it's a lot of people's criticized after the thrilling suspense. They just were kind of, I don't know. They didn't like the slow burn pace.
But is the
But
mystery?
the
Go ahead,
mystery,
sorry.
the mystery is actually bigger, I think. Like at before, like it answers some stuff and it makes things even more intriguing because it's a slow
Cool.
pace,
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
nice
yeah.
paced, and it goes like up. Like it seems like this, like it goes up, and the first root after it's always from top. It
Yeah.
goes a bit like that. Like it gets crazy, but the
Okay.
one is like a slow burn that goes like a wave, and the
Cool.
ending is so amazing of that it's just.
I mean, this is like, you consider this game, you're only 10 out of 10, or maybe IO's also 10 out
IO
of 10,
too.
right?
It's kind of combines my favorite parts of Remember 11
Yeah.
IO. The root after is something more like
So
Remember 11, that there is actually a threat, an imminent threat, and they need kind of to solve it.
Yeah.
And root before is more like IO's first routes where you get to know Hinata, his friends, and there's a
Yeah.
like a strange mystery going on,
Yeah, yeah.
with
Oh, it's
a dark
perfect.
vibe. It just I love
just
it.
love this, and I like it because, so I haven't really played the Nonary games much, but I guess the reason why I'm kind of not looking forward to it is I'm not that big of a fan of artificial games where somebody purposely designed a game
I know what
to
you
make
mean.
somebody go through it, because it feels, I mean, I love the original Saw movie, I like trap stuff, but if it's like, the one part in Resident Evil 7 that I hated was that room where you have to solve the game. It's like, it's just trivial. It's like, so you made it, but it was creative though. It was creative.
I
The Happy
forgot about
Birthday.
that.
Where Ethan,
that was, was
there's
that
like
a
the
DLC?
clown. No. It's the main part of the game, and it's
I
the one I
forgot
really
about that. Okay.
disliked. Some people might love it.
Mhm.
It's very cool, I admit, but I guess if the entire game is based around something that somebody else designed just to mess with the characters, it's kind of like,
No, my problem is with this too. Like, there's definitely like, I guess, one villain. If it's reasons may be good in the end, who knows? But there's always, you always have to think there's one pulling the strings, and in something
same
like
with-
Root Double and also IO and Remember 11, you don't have to feel. It feels the dread is everywhere, kind of, because it's the
Yeah.
shadow or it's the
Okay,
radiation
yeah.
or it's
Oh, that's
something
awesome,
strange. So I prefer a mystery that really feels like a mystery, not that you feel could be like a cheap like off screen villain doing
like
some
somebody
stuff.
just like doing it all.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm.
And that's
But
a bigger
a
show.
lot of people. So a lot of people might say that their favorite VN is 999.
999, yeah.
And so I can't really say much about that.
I think because of that, you should, because you would enjoy, because it's short and it's kind of all the way. It's like Root After, just condensed.
Okay.
And just like with puzzles in between, it's kind of
Okay.
fun. It just for me it feels flat.
I mean,
because the
that's
characters have no depth in 999 because it's so
yeah,
short.
I've heard
and,
that. Yeah,
and it's funny
that's
because
the best part that you said about
Root
Root Double
Double.
is the characters.
And a lot of people thought Nagasawa's answer to his friend Uchikoshi was Root Double because it came 2 years after 999,
Yeah,
and they kind of always like
Interesting.
and AI seems like
they
something
exchange
like
ideas all the time.
IO.
Yeah.
It just it's looks similar on paper, but it's so different that
They
depending
both
on what
deal
some
with memory loss.
it's just the way it's
Yeah.
presented, and I guess the progression is so different. The atmosphere too, I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Same with 999 Root Double. It feels on paper, wow, people that like 999 will basically enjoy Root Double, but that's not the case. Like
Yeah.
there is also you either prefer Root Double or 999, but I kind of enjoy both. It's completely different.
I would say. It's like comparing, character based. Yeah, like Silent Hill versus Resident Evil, right? One is completely
Definitely.
psychology.
Yeah,
one is
definitely.
completely.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
there is one big part, a word you told me, that is big part of Root Double. What was it? Derealization. Derealization. And it deals with it so well.
Yeah, I mean, he loves psychology.
It does.
Nakazawa. I mean, if you look at this book for Remember 11, the fan book, it has a huge section on Jungian archetypes.
Yeah.
And and of course there's the concept of the self, which is still present in Root Double.
And Root Double base Enneagram is also, I don't know the name of the psychologist that created that, but it's also psychology based.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And it creates a lot of depth because the character on paper, like when you first met them, you can see, Yuri Kotono is definitely the peacemaker character, type 9. But afterwards, when you play the game and get to know more sides of the characters, they have a lot more depth than just their type. So and
Yeah,
usually,
that's actually great. Yeah.
and 999 feel they were based on the
So he went
Enneagram
from
too.
Oh, okay.
They
So
were
he,
based,
but interesting that he went from Remember 11 with archetypes to more complicated characters, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he needed to do that kind of, because I felt not the weak point, but I guess he never really fleshed out his characters that much with flashbacks, background stories and
Okay.
stuff. Io has some of it though, a lot more than Remember 11. But I'm glad he tried with new
okay.
writers to go more in depth, and it just it feels more memorable to me, because when I remember Root Double, I remember even like not important scenes, because some character scenes that were very emotional, touching.
Cool.
And it's the most emotional, touching game of these three.
Cool. Oh,
I think
Remember 11,
Io and Root Double.
What about Ever 17?
Ever 17, I guess it wasn't really emotional to me. Like it's similar to Remember 11 in that regard. It has something that touched me deeply, but it didn't make me feel like something because how should I say, in Root Double the characters really could have been like, it's really like a real person, it feels. So it feels very grounded. So I could imagine the Watase is here in front of me and he does that. So it touched me deeply. Remember 11 or Ever 17, some of the characters, they didn't feel every time like real persons yet. Root Double is really like a real,
I mean, I think they good point. I mean, I don't really know any other visual novel that really does characters,
I guess,
really well yet. But
Umineko will be probably one of those. That
But yeah, no. So far, I love the characters in Root Double, and
the voice acting that I want to mention too is, for me, almost flawless. Like the Japanese voice acting.
That's very good. It's
I love
good.
it. Like Jun Moribe's voice. I forgot who she did. She did some characters, popular characters, but this one so Jun Moribe.
Okay.
But I forgot. She did some other
like
popular characters, but you wouldn't know that because she really acts the character so well that she seems a different voice actor. That's what most people also said, kind of. And
it kind of catches you off guard because you're expecting. Wait, did she a Remember 11 character or not? I guess not.
We need to look into it again.
But whoever did, what is her name? Oh my god.
Remember 11's Lin character.
Lin, is also
the
voice actor, is the teacher.
Anna.
And it's kind of cool because you kind of expect her to be like Lin, but she's not. And I really like
that. That was a good surprise for me because I didn't really like Lin.
Yeah, Lin was kind of very one-dimensional.
Yeah,
you could argue. I guess you could argue.
But I really liked the teacher character. But my favorite character, that's the hardest part for me. So we'll see. We'll do a character video.
To finish it. So he's reading it a second time now in Japanese. I'm reading it
also
for the first
the smart
time
edition.
In Japanese. Yeah, we're both playing the smart edition. But I don't know. I guess the reason why I love it is, it just feels like Nakazawa. And the main character, I mentioned to you, his name is Watase, which is a play on, it sounds like Watashi, like I or the self. Obviously, it's a little bit deeper than you might think.
It's kind of.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but
Watase feels like you could be a player.
It says Watase Tachi, always Watase Tachi, which is just like Watashi Tachi, like we.
True.
So it really, he breaks the fourth wall, or at least acknowledges the fourth wall. Well. I don't know. It's just, it's just
the good thing is it could be like people when they see like a main character with amnesia that doesn't know his past seems overdone. The only thing that makes this feel better is because the team members are firefighter. Watase is a firefighter. It's something about the prologue. No spoilers in this video. And his team members, Jun and Kazami, know him so well that they tell him how he was. So it feels it feels really like very crazy. Like
I think this will also be a meta commentary on the self, just like the other games.
What I thought Root Double for me when I finished it, I thought this as not many people discuss this, like also a social commentary. So the movie you mentioned, I need to watch that because what was it called?
Cube or The Cube, I don't know.
So that's the thing. Root Double is more grounded than the other works, but there's also like in every Nakazawa thing different depths of meaning, like how you can see parts of it, and and I loved like I'm not gonna like in the second route the twist actually, which doesn't feel like a cheap trick. That's the thing. The first time I feel
nice.
this is so well foreshadowed, and
Nice.
I actually
Yeah.
got it 5 or 10 minutes before it actually was revealed.
That's perfect.
The timing
yeah.
was perfect, and I think you will notice it too. If it-
Nice. Okay.
like every little detail, like the text box or even something a character says that feels off at the beginning, and then afterwards you feel, what the hell could that be?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
very well
It
used.
seemed, and after playing Remember 11, like that game was so shocking to me that I know now, like every single scene and every line in the very opening is critical.
Yes,
Like
yes.
every single.
Even the
I mean,
Root Double has also Bible quotes. Even the opening is called Double Bible.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, even that it makes entire sense after finishing the story. This is a commentary on that part.
He likes
kind
the
of.
Old Testament. He likes all these really bizarre conspiracy theories, Anunnaki creation, myth, and all this stuff.
From Io.
Which is very, very cool. You know, there's nobody else making games on those topics. I feel like Xenogears was
Fortunately.
like the main one
It
that
was,
went into occult stuff. And then there's this guy who's just he's all over the place. It's great.
Yeah,
It's
the
great. He
only
loves
other
stuff.
visual novel series maybe is the science adventure like Steins Gate. And there's even one that will come out called Occultic 9 and Animals Code. They have all semicolon. The only problem is sometimes I feel that's their weakness. The characters are so over the top there that they don't seem like normal people.
In Steins
Steins Gate too, or other.
You mean in Root Double?
No, in this series, semicolon series, like
I
Steins
haven't
Gate.
started those yet. Yeah.
It feels like the setting and conspiracy and background seems also like something I really enjoy. That's why I'll read them. Also, Chaos Child. But for me, the characters
Chaos
are too bizarre.
Okay.
Kind of like and not really likable either. So I read those more for the science and conspiracy facts and the setting.
Cool.
But what Nagasawa does, he does even like the atmosphere and also characters.
It feels like I'm watching a really good movie.
Yeah, that's the difference here. And
it doesn't feel like a game or a novel. It's like I don't know. I guess visual novels in general are easy to compare to film, but not so much in anything else.
Guess so, yeah.
Because even though it might be 50 hours, the structure of VN so far to me really feels like I'm just watching a 2-hour movie.
And without choices, even
out.
more so, I guess. Without choices. And
Yeah.
the visual presentation of Root Double makes it even more like a movie. Like, I remember the start. It says September 16, 2000. What year is it? 2032, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
It's actually the near future now, this game, which is
It
crazy.
feels extremely believable.
And that's the most believable world, I think.
Remember 11 tries to base its science off real science, real stuff without spoiling it. I assume this game's doing the same. In the tips, though, it kind of... It's the first game of his that shows what's
fiction and
real
yeah.
in the tips. That's pretty cool.
The only thing is, I guess, Root Double deals with telepathy in some ways, and that's maybe for some people when they hear it not believable. But inside the world of Root Double, it's explained so well.
That's good.
Telepathy
has gotten a huge renaissance recently. So, like, there's a very famous book called Real Magic by Dean Radin, Entangled Minds, and a few others. And whether you believe in it or not, there's a lot of research on parapsychology now.
Cool.
And, the brain influencing random number generators and things like this. And, regardless of if you think it's real or not, I think there's enough science that you could make the case for it and make stories based on it with it, while it's still being like grounded in science.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And quantum physics and all this stuff, and
because
I think
it would be 100% based on real facts, and it could be even dry. So I'm glad that there's some theoretical things
just push a little bit into theoretical. That's fun. That's really cool. So, and
the thing is, Io is also 2030, but it feels more like it should have been like written. But that was 2006. We need to remember these guys. It feels more like something that can't be happening soon. But the thing is, it's still also with hard, like it's basically hard science fiction kind of based.
Nothing is too. I mean, they're
the only thing
serious.
is the cyber world, like that you dive into the game.
IO,
That's a bit a concept of the 2000s that was very often used. maybe that's the only thing, because nowadays you have virtual like reality headsets.
Yeah.
It's a bit different in that way.
Yeah,
but,
I want to compare it to Avatar or The Matrix, but Avatar's a little bit different. But I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
No, these two, that's the thing. I think these two are my favorites for sure.
IO
and Root Double.
So far,
for different
yeah,
reasons,
I feel
though.
the same way.
For different reasons, though. And
Yeah.
I guess like the like most nostalgic VN always stays Remember 11, I guess, because it's for me the first one I felt
So good.
why I like and love Nakazawa. And
Yeah.
after that, I actually reappreciate Ever 17. Like after, because
Uh-huh.
because I stopped that game halfway, because kind of, it didn't grab me much. Completed Remember 11, then went back.
Cool.
And
And
I
it was
really
like
enjoyed
probably
it.
not a big deal to you because you had already seen something so insane.
No, not a big
Yeah.
deal. I think I could like actually the slow burn. I didn't mind anymore because I know actually something amazing will happen. Like I stayed
Yeah.
with it and I was rewarded with Ever 17, and the atmosphere is still amazing. So
Cool. Yeah.
but yeah, actually, it's hard for me to that anything shocks me after Remember 11 and Ayo or Umineko. These three have like
Man,
the most
yeah.
shock factor.
If you or shock, or I would say
No, not shock. I mean, it's
confusion
confusion, complexity, and intrigue is so big in those that I was surprised. Yeah, Root Double, just with its character depth, it didn't need any real big trick.
That's nice.
That
Yeah.
it really like shocked me too, just in a
That's
different
really
way.
nice. Yeah, because
And I think he had to do that.
It's not.
After Ayo,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what would Nagasawa have to write to kind of.
Cool.
He went to the insanity and went a bit back, because I think.
Ayo was
The
the peak of
ceiling,
his
yeah,
insanity, yeah.
the ceiling is that. It's kind of. I'm glad he tried something different that combined elements of his past
Yeah, it
works.
just feels great. I guess some people might just prefer something more funny and with like more lighthearted, I guess. Because
Yeah.
like if you take the comparison of Silent Hill versus Resident Evil, or
Right,
something like that.
Biohazard has
like-
more like funny comedic
Yeah,
like jokes.
I mean,
or,
I'm a fan of this like deep, dark, like serious, really self-contained
same.
stuff. But I guess even if I played too much of that stuff, eventually I would be like, I just want to
Same.
like relax and play something else, so I can see, or like Evangelion versus just I don't know some
Code
other.
Geass. Can you compare that?
What is it called?
Code Geass. Code Geass. That seems like.
I have no idea. What
I
that
never
is.
watched it.
But
I
I'm
don't know
thinking
how to
like
pronounce.
yeah, I have no idea. But I'm just saying I can see why some people might not prefer Nakazawa stuff. And even I guess if I played only that style of stuff, maybe I would want to
Yeah.
play something more lighthearted. So I have been playing AI Somnium Files. I've been reading that because it doesn't really require much from my brain. It's just it's just like whatever. It's like turning on Devil May Cry or something, you know.
That
it's
makes
like
sense,
I can
yeah.
see I guess what I'm trying to say is as I've grown older, like I've always liked the heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Always. But as I've grown older, I'm kind of like, okay, I guess I can kind of see why this gets kind of exhausting and like unneeded heaviness. So
Yeah.
I am changing a little bit where I can allow myself to enjoy stuff that's a
Oh,
little bit more
same.
simple. So I guess
But that's
it
why
depends on your
Root
mood
Double
and what
is
you
my
like.
number one, I think, because
Yeah.
it creates the balance.
Well, it's not.
Like,
It's not overly serious at all.
No,
yeah.
it's not. No, and Root before, when you see like the daily life of the students, it has the lighthearted moments done right, though, not like in a way with silly jokes about like sexual jokes. It actually does that very well.
I
But
can't
it's very
stand that, yeah.
lighthearted in that sense. The days before the
Mm.
incident.
Both are
Ah, okay.
correct in that case. Yeah.
And so it does the balance, right? So I feel like
Yeah,
it's
it
most
seems that
enjoyable to in rereading. Like Ayo and also Remember 11 in parts
Yeah.
can feel heavy, so I can see that well. And so I think
Yeah.
Root Devil is probably his masterpiece in that sense for me, or
That's cool.
the truest 10, because it doesn't require sometimes that much of thought. But if you think a lot and pay attention, you can solve it. People that
That's cool.
just turn the brain off, they just enjoy the ride, but they don't get the satisfaction of
Yeah.
solving it. So I
That's
always
what I mean
feel-
is somebody who wants to relax. I don't know if Root Double would actually be correct because you're supposed to engage. You know, like playing Xenogears or something that's
I
engaging.
guess
You know
so.
what I mean?
But there's no much like so much complex words or description like I doesn't have. So I feel
it's totally
from
different than IO or
Nakazawa's
Remember 11,
words, it's definitely the one that is most like
Normal,
beginner
right?
friendly.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
it's an overall recommendation for people that don't mind that it slows down sometimes and
Yeah.
it goes deep to the characters, because if people enjoy 999, I think they can enjoy Root Double. Just they need to expect a bit, I guess, yeah, that it deals a lot with the past of the characters, and it's not just a ride.
Yeah. And the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool. Yeah.
That's my easiest recommendation from this tree. But Remember 11 is so unique that honestly, yeah, it's also a big recommendation. Even if there may be a lot of people that won't like it. Like it depends. But it's worth experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even. Yeah, everybody's different. You know, some people might.
Yeah.
You know. Some people prefer more writing and less dialogue and less like fluff stuff. Like, yeah, Remember 11, I kind of struggled with some fluff for sure. But so far, I haven't noticed that in Root Double at all.
Yeah, it's very.
Since Kokoro is not rambling, you know.
That's the thing. The main characters for me are a huge deal, honestly.
The rambling was intolerable for me from Kokoro and Remember 11. Even though I love that game. The setting is so good.
And Ayo, because
Ayo doesn't have any rambling about stuff.
And I guess Hinata is like a child that is under depression. The first route
he's so depressed, but at least he writes stuff pretty beautifully or nice in Japanese a lot.
And you can see the growth happening there, like the character grows. So it's not always like dark and depressing. Slowly, like the character, and it's it is a dark tale, and it fits the world, I guess, so it's fine. But I'm glad to see all the difference.
So cool.
Kokoro, Hinata, Watase, or I would more say Satoru, Watase, and like Hinata. There's a lot of parallels. Like the second main character of Root Double, it's called Natsuhiko, and he's also like a kid like Hinata.
Oh, it's another guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like a girl for some reason.
No,
I'm used to like two routes, Resident Evil A, B. Whatever.
It's two guys. It's like a guys in his 30s and a young boy, high school boy, I guess.
Okay.
And it makes the thinking is so different between those two. It will be like it's such a good contrast.
Oh, the high school boy who looks like Conan.
Oh yeah,
but a grown-up Conan. He's clearly based, or like the image is based on him.
Now that you mention that,
he's even doing in the picture. He's like doing something like on the nose or
Yeah. You saw that? Yeah, that's
on
cool.
On Steam, you can see him in the background there. I can't wait.
It's so good, and I think the rivalry between those two characters is just awesome because you see, that's just a little kid and a guy with experience. It's just so well done that's why I'm actually glad they used high school kids. Usually I'm tired of if it's just like a school setting, just kids. But Ayo and Root Double, there was like a good mix of cast between adults and kids.
I think, I guess the problem with Remember 11 is that the story actually doesn't have enough meat to even last an hour. Like, because if you really look at what happens in Remember 11, you could actually finish that entire thing in less than a second, or like, in like a few minutes. Like the entire story's done already. So they had to fill it with stuff. With like, what's going on? Why is this happening for hours?
And in the end, it was still the shortest of these three visual novels, which makes sense.
Like nothing actually happens in Remember 11, except for her slowly realizing what's going on.
I guess it's more like you see how characters turn into madness.
I mean, I love it. I really love it, but I can see why the rambling.
And I guess the locations are in Remember 11 also more repetitive. Like, even Ever 17 had more rooms, I feel. Like, Ever 17 and Root Double are similar. They also reuse... They have three floors. And even Ever 17 reuses some stuff.
I mean, I think it's a strategic choice by the designer for artwork.
I guess, and it creates confusion, too, to the characters. Which floor are they? What the fuck
maybe it's a purposeful design choice there, so, like Cube.
No, these two seem so similar. Like, the setting, I guess, Root Double, Ever 17... And I guess, in an interview, Nakazawa says, like, his most important work, like, that changed his career was Ever 17. But he never wanted to try to recreate that. He always wanted to try to top it, though. So he created Remember 11 Ayo. And I guess with Root Double, he wanted to do first, like, a spiritual successor, which he kind of is. But turned into its own entire thing.
That's so cool.
So for me, that's my that's my Ever 17 Root Double for me. Yeah. But for a lot of people, the cult classic is Ever 17.
Yeah, I feel like so you introduced me to visual novels, except for Police Knots. That was my first visual novel over a decade ago.
That's so cool.
I played it here in Tokyo. I remember when I was a student, and But yeah, you introduced visual novels to me basically formally, and then I
Yeah.
found the subreddit and all the discords and stuff. But I feel like in my mind, there's Nakazawa, and then there's just everything else. Like I can't even really think of any other VN.
For me, there is kind of Nakazawa and Ryukyoshi07, his strange nickname, the Umineko creator.
Umineko and Higurashi and stuff. But
yeah, the
I haven't
problem with
gotten
him
through it
is
yet, so.
kind of, at least for me, when I think about him, I think about Umineko and that's it. But there is another
Some people
called
really-
Rose Guns Days.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed.
okay, some people do really like Higurashi anyway, so maybe you just have to get through it.
I think the thing is a lot
Forces
of
up
concepts of Higurashi uses in Umineko. Again,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does it more because I enjoy the setting more. I enjoy actually the characters more.
Higurashi has a nice setting though, like the horror old village
It has
with the really
I guess-
depressive stuff. Oh my god!
Good.
Yeah.
In terms of that old rural village, I think Higurashi is still the best
Yeah.
choice,
And
especially
not Raging Loop,
Not
yeah.
Raging Loop, yeah. No, I guess my issue there is it's all like little girls. It kind
I
of
know. Well,
tiring
that's
to
the
me.
issue with VNs in general, like having
I know,
originated
yeah.
from Edo Gamu. So they're kind of. I mean, I kind of hate them all for that. Like I think about AI Somnium Files, like main character shows up, his boss is over sexualized. He's got this really cute idol girl, and then he's got this young girl who's underage, and she even calls him a pedophile and stuff. I'm like, this is just too much of a fat man fantasy.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, or fat fantasy. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't
And
see what you mean.
same with Root Double. You know, it's the same thing. You show up in a world not knowing who you are, and you have some really cute girls around you. So
It is,
but,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but the characters do
Unfortunately-
feel real and not
yeah.
like overly sexualized.
Unfortunately, sometimes I feel they need to design them a certain way that it sells better. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it will
that's
never
really true.
sell. That's a
Yeah, I
shame.
mean, Yudi is so cute.
I know.
Yudi?
Yuri.
Yudi, that like, yeah, you just want to see her and hear her
I really
voice.
like her. Yeah, I really
Yeah, see,
like
yeah,
her
it's like a
with
little
the
like
voice.
puppy or something. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. Like,
But
that
the
stuff
thing is,
sells,
actually,
yeah.
I can't imagine living in Japan. I actually can't imagine. Yeah, there are Yuris around here.
Yeah,
so
you walk
maybe-
outside, you see girls just as cute as
Yeah,
that.
and
if
with that
cuter.
same voice. So actually, yeah, it makes actually
Oh my
sense.
god!
In
yeah.
some other
yeah,
ways,
it's actually real here.
Yeah.
That's the thing, guys. Like a lot of the complaints of over sexualized games from the West. Like once you live in Tokyo, you just can't really agree with it because girls do dress really sexual here, and they're just
yeah.
everywhere.
And the teacher, yeah,
And
honestly,
very feminine.
the
They're very
teacher
feminine.
in Root W, yeah, could seem over sexual.
But I
the
don't
problem is-
like. Yeah, I really dislike.
I dislike it
over-sexualized
too.
Women when they're like. Yeah, I don't know.
But the girl, yeah, in Japan, I guess there is some unique fashion, so it's
Yeah.
in a sense it's believable, I guess.
Oh, it's completely believable except for AI Somnium Files and maybe
and
some other
no,
stuff.
and a lot of other stuff
Yeah.
is like move loove. There is stuff that is just over the top that just feels like just for the sake of it of a male fantasy.
Yeah.
And that I just
fat fantasy.
yeah, I dislike
It's
that
just,
as well. I guess if
yeah.
it's so extreme, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, the
It's
worst
just,
trope is that like a girl coming on to a guy, which doesn't happen in reality.
Yeah.
Unless you're a really good-looking guy, and you go on Tinder and stuff, you can find these desperate girls who will come to you.
Yeah,
You know, but in general, in reality, that's not how attraction works. Like the guy's the one who usually should lead. But in these VNs, in anime, it's always like the girls like
Yeah.
following the guy around. That doesn't happen in reality.
The good
Often,
or the
right.
thing is like Hinata. We're
Yeah, that's
taking
what I mean.
an
It has this girl there the whole time.
but the thing is he doesn't care about her, so I guess in real life that's also like that sometimes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
a
you
guy
might
that
have
is
a girl
just
you don't care about,
clueless,
yeah.
but the girl likes you so much, it's just the guy doesn't care.
It
and,
goes both ways, yeah.
Yeah, and that feels to me actually realistic.
But he doesn't mention if he likes her or not, and that's kind of the odd part. You know what I mean?
That
Like you're like, do you like her? Because like she clearly wants to be his.
that
girlfriend.
makes sense when you
Later.
read more.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that makes actually
Well,
sense.
I'm prepared for some insane stuff in that game, so I'm just
That
like,
game is
honestly,
just pure insanity.
I'm
yeah.
playing it as if I'm watching Mulholland Drive. So like I know like every character might not exist in reality. Every character might be a symbol.
Yeah, it's
Every character,
honestly,
yeah.
yeah. That's the thing. Aya feels every character is some sort of occult or mystical symbol.
Some concept, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
and
a Lynch thing.
Root
too,
Double, every character feels it's one of your friends or parents, kind of like you can see.
Yeah.
That's like my mom.
So
or,
far they're great,
that's
man.
yeah, it's cool. Both of them are just insanely good.
Dude, I mean, it reminds me. I just love it. I love the setting, And it reminds me of the Resident Evil movie, even though it's a bad movie.
I never watched
Resident
that.
Evil
That
1. It's a terrible
yeah.
movie, but the setting and the intro music,
Yeah.
which is done by Marilyn Manson, interestingly, it's just
Wow.
like, I mean, it's just so cool, even though it's terrible. You know, I mean,
see.
I mean, I wish they would never make video game movies, honestly, really.
Yeah.
But there's something about that setting being in the hive underground, and like the alarms going off, and then you show up after these things have happened. It's
Tadaima.
exactly
That is ingrained in my brain. Tadaima. And it says something, the robotic voice that says emergency. Like
In
it always
what?
says in root double, Tadaima. Like that robotic
Really?
voice. You never noticed?
No, I didn't notice. Yeah.
Every time.
Oh, okay, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense that it would say Tadaima. Yeah,
Yeah. It just that word, like I learned it, like I remember that word because of root double mostly, and they use it a lot in Japan when the train comes or.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's. I think
Tadaima.
that's one of those phrases that doesn't
Yeah.
have any real meaning. So my brain filters it out.
I
Kind
guess
of like
so.
sate or like.
For me at that time I didn't speak
or
any
now.
Japanese, so that
Yeah.
was like every time Tadaima.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's kind of that atmosphere, that feels of emergency there. That
Yeah, the
everything's-
robot voice. Yeah, that. I just love that. And
that's so good.
I don't know
Yeah.
if there's any AI in it, but yeah, in the Resident Evil first movie, like the AI shuts things down.
Oh my
And
God.
which is kind of similar to Alien, actually. That's a trope from originally Alien,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
the
yeah.
mother AI
Yes,
is actually
yes.
trying to screw with, like,
That's-
mess things up. So
That's
yeah,
super cool.
I just love it. These like this trap setting kind of thing, or trapped, I guess you would say.
trapped setting.
where
Yeah.
people are trapped somewhere.
I really love it, and I love it that one route is actually outside it before everything
Cool,
happened.
cool.
I just love the combination of that. That's why it calls, I guess, route double, because these two,
Man,
the after and
yeah.
before. It's just, I just love the concept, and some people can see it like before Christ, after Christ. The Bible is everywhere,
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah,
so
that's so wild, man.
it's
This
just,
guy,
it's
this guy's
so,
so out there.
yeah, I could that's the thing. I could praise Rutabo to heavens. Like I don't know, I never get tired speaking
the
about
heavens,
Rutabo
man,
to
yeah.
the heavens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Io too, though. These two are just my favorites, and
It shocked me.
it's just
Yeah.
so good.
I honestly, our favorite games tend to be the same: Xenogears, Silent Hill 2, and Nier Automata. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else.
Both-
that really,
I
maybe
like
Metal
both
Gear
Nier.
Solid 1 and 2
Two.
and 3,
I
which
kind
are
of
very,
like them,
very.
yeah.
I mean, it's also a trapped kind of like setting at Metal Gear Solid 1 on this island, you know, and conspiracy theories
I never
coming in, different
thought
forces,
about it. I think that's
different
what
characters. You can't trust anybody.
Metal Gear Solid 1 is still my favorite. I
It's
guess
my favorite
because
of the
of that.
series, I
And
think. But
not-
Metal Gear Solid
yeah.
2 is also a setting like that on the shell.
Yes, true.
And 3 is not, but it's just so good.
Jungle, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's why 3 I like too, but less than the other two. I think, the reason was the setting. I like the jungle, but
Those
just,
were-
the first two were surreal. You feel like trapped,
yeah.
and who can you trust? Who
Oh,
not?
it's so crazy. Yeah, so I think if you like those games, then you really need to play Nakazawa's stuff.
I
And Root
think
Double
so.
seems like a 10 to me. Unless you really want to go into something insane, then play IO,
Yeah,
which is like Mulholland Drive combined with Inception.
yeah,
I guess.
that's it. Yeah,
it's
that's
absolutely
really
nuts.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess warm up, I always feel like reading first Remember 11, then going to IO makes a lot more sense.
Or just play them all at the same time, like I do.
Oh,
'Cause,
that's
like,
even
I
better.
start to
Yeah,
get tired like of one thing, and I
That's
just
even
play the other
better.
one. Yeah.
I wish I had done that to see how like
Which one you can't go back to?
Yeah, or no, just the thing like my mind would explode. I think from
Yeah, that
awesomeness.
makes sense.
Just
yeah, I
no,
just need to
it's just
finish them. I think it's the Japanese thing too.
no. The good thing is you like Ayo and Root Double. Playing them together, that makes huge sense. I just think finishing Remember 11 first is essential to me. Or even ever 17, not so much, but that game also.
Yeah, it's nice to see what he's capable
At
of.
least one
I
of
think,
those
yeah.
should be read
Remember
before.
11 is still so. I mean, which one is more insane, IO or Remember 11? As far as
I think Ayo is just
weird.
because
oh,
it just
man, that's nuts.
because that the fan book you got a lot of stuff that just people can't figure out. It's just too complex for a normal human being. That's the book
Yeah.
for. And for Remember 11, while the book explains things, it's actually all in the
not,
game.
what I want to ask is which one's not more complex. I think IO might be more complex with like layers of reality and stuff. But Remember 11 is like so, I guess,
Mine's
conceptually weird and different. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice to see what he's capable of with.
I feel when there's like basically one shock moment of that part when something gets revealed. Ever 17 and Remember 11 have the biggest because it's going to that moment, then bam.
Yeah,
but the conceptual thing, like if I look at what's inside that book, honestly, it's just the concept is more crazy. And I think the cooperation between Nakazawa and Tanaka Romeo, which is the other guy that envisioned Ayo, they created.
Oh, did he actually help with the concept too?
Yeah,
he
did.
That's cool.
And it's
we
just
have to. I have to read Cross Channel and what's the other one by Romeo?
Rewrite.
He did a part of Rewrite.
Rewrite.
And unfortunately, people say that most of Rewrite is not nearly as good as the route that he wrote. It's like when you get to his route, it's like really good. So
yes, I want to read
really
that
exciting.
too.
Yeah.
No, I think in terms of concepts, Ayo is the most insane.
Ah man, yeah.
In terms of like revelation and stuff, the Infinity series is known for that. So Ever 17, Remember 11.
I feel like the reason why you rate and like Root Double so much is that partially because it's so safe. So for example, when you go on IMDb and look at movie ratings, the highest rated movies are not necessarily the best. For example, the highest rated movies are like Pixar, Disney, like, you know, Marvel movies and stuff. It's like stuff that's like, well, it doesn't really take any risks, therefore it gets a high rating. Same with Rotten Tomatoes. The highest rated movies are not necessarily the coolest or most creative or most, you know, emotionally hooking. It's just that they didn't, everything was so safe. So maybe Root Double is a 10 out of 10 for recommending it to people, but don't you feel like IO is just so, like, dude, IO is so good for me. Like, starting IO in, like, I don't know how many hours I am in now, 10 hours at least. Maybe not, but it's just so, like so far I'll say that Root Double doesn't even come close to how cool IO is. Not even close. Yeah. But it's safe like a Disney movie. I'd be like, yeah, 10 out of 10.
I don't think it's safe. That's the thing.
Okay.
Like I think
so maybe I'm just not deep enough into it.
I love Root Double because it doesn't require actually anything insane to be insane in itself. It's just perfection in a sense. And looking at the ratings, I think Root Double, Remember 11 have a similar average. The most VNDB, polarizing is IO. And that makes sense. No, that's why for me both are a 10. Remember 11 is not is 9.5. It's not 10. I reconsider.
I'm on your team with that. I really feel
I guess no. The coolest visual novel is world is definitely Ayo. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, also the opening of Ayo is like watching. It's like a psychedelic trip because it's just so weird. Yeah, it's so the moon and the
like the concept. That's why for me Ayo is the 10 out of 10 in terms of ambition, everything. Like
I mean, I think maybe once I finish Root Double, then
Root Double is just the reward, like the payoff of the story is just good. And
I don't mean to suggest it's like a Disney movie or like Marvel stuff. I'm just saying that
on paper, between these three, Root Double is maybe the safest because it's based like. Ever 17 did the trapped setting also like that, but it just for me it makes use of the characters in a way so differently than for me. Ayo and Remember 11 was never really about the characters. Some parts were, but more about the world and the craziness. Root Double just the characters are like the story there to me. Like it goes so deep. Like every character has so much background. Than just the other two can compare. So that's why Root Double is a 10 and Ayo is a 10, but for very different reasons. Kind of.
I feel you on that. And I guess Remember 11's biggest flaw is that it wasn't really finished. And that, I
guess so, because there's some characters that,
the mystery isn't solved, and the Nakazawa has not actually stated certain elements, spoilers I won't mention, but certain things about Remember 11. There's certain open-ended things about it that aren't settled ever.
Yes.
And there's also a reason for that as well. There's a reason why, a meta kind of reason. But like, for example, in these fan books, the IO book will explain everything, even though it's extremely complicated. But Remember 11 can't be explained, even with the details, because it's just not really.
The unexplained or unfinished details, they are not.
Well, I think he on purpose he left the Remember 11 open because that's part of the Yukido plan. So yeah, whatever. Let's skip
I
over
guess-
that. But,
I guess so,
We'll
yeah.
talk about Remember 11 spoilers in a.
I guess that makes it, I guess, compared to IO and Root Double, makes Remember 11 the one with least payoff. But I think it's that aspect of game that makes it also unique. So
it
I'm
stays
glad
in your
it
head
stays like
for
that.
an infinity loop.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
exactly.
it's supposed to.
And there is ever
Yeah.
17 for the payoff. So that's a finished work.
People
And
tend to say that's the best like payoff. Yeah.
yeah, so in the end, the Infinity series has one with huge payoff.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I'm glad Remember 11 turned out to be
But
very
yeah,
different.
as far as the Infinity series goes, I feel like IO and I mean, it's just like IO and Root Double are still
part of
it's
it.
Nakazawa. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not-
I agree.
The Infinity series really shouldn't even be considered as a self-contained thing, with 12 Raiden being written completely by Ushiko.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, when people mention that it's the same universe, that's the only thing. But I feel like Infinity
Yeah,
series,
there are
Root
some-
Double IO and Remember 11 feel more like a trilogy to me than
Yeah,
and
yeah,
ever
good
se-
point,
or
yeah.
how do you say quadrology? If it's 4, ever 17, Remember
Yeah.
11, that's the duology plus IO Root Double. 12 Raven
Yeah.
is kind of something that he did on
Or it
his
feels
own.
like a trilogy to me
separate.
too. I feel like the Nakazawa trilogy would be Remember 11.
I think
but
so,
he
yeah.
did write
No,
pretty
ever,
much all
ever
of Ever
17 is a
I gotta
big
check that.
thing
Yeah, I gotta
of
get
his
into that.
that changed his life, I think. So
Yeah.
no,
I
it's
can't
still
wait.
very important,
Cool,
and
yeah.
I think it does the one trick thing the best, and no other visual novel can replicate that,
That's
because it
cool.
feels just like
Yeah.
as cheap copy otherwise, because it works
Okay.
once and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
but it's very, very well
But
done.
you're saying
so.
somehow Root Double manages to surprise you again, fresh,
Yes,
which is very
yes.
incredible. And
Yes, in Route
that's-
before is a moment that I just thought it was
Yeah, that's cool.
ingenious, the way like the mystery slowly gets
Yeah.
revealed and you slowly get to know what.
Man, yeah,
And
we're
that-
gonna have to make a video as soon as I finish it, because right now I think my awareness of what the whole game is, the whole story, is just too limited.
What you
'Cause
should do-
I'm only right in the beginning.
Yeah,
you know.
what you should do when you finish Route after, I guess you should note down what's the mysteries that are open, or what's your theories.
Again, I think I mentioned if you play this, make sure you pay attention to everything that's said.
That's most satisfying to do,
yeah.
because it's actually solvable
Everything
the first time. I
matters.
think.
No, it's solvable too. Yeah, remember 11, you actually can't solve
And
it.
IO is just too complex to be solvable, in my opinion.
Which is okay, I think.
Which is fine for the thing he,
like
he
a
wants
Lynch
to do
movie.
with
You're not,
it.
a Lynch
Yeah.
movie. You're not supposed to even be able to.
Or
solve it.
even
You're supposed to just take it
Inception.
in.
Inception too. It's kind of the first time I watched it. It just feels like what I'm
Inception
actually
is not bad though. Inception's just like deeper and deeper. I'd say like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just the first time someone watches that, and if the person doesn't pay much attention, it could just be something like.
true. Maybe,
And it
yeah.
feels some parts like that, which is nice, and like Lynch,
Yeah.
I guess, where you can't even expect what to expect.
It's
so,
supposed to be like a dream where you just feel
and that's,
like, you know,
that describes
like it
IO
is
perfectly.
what it is.
It
like
is a
it
dream.
doesn't matter what the answer is, because you experience what you experience, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like you reading IO. When you read IO, you feel like in a dreamy haze. Yeah, it's like it
You
feels,
feel like you're in that depression with Hinata. And
Yeah.
you feel it is.
It's just crazy.
But anyway,
No, I guess after you finish Root after, we should make a video, and especially after you finish Root before as
yeah,
well.
sure, yeah.
Just to see like the contrast of these two roads, because it's a double route, so both are critical.
Yeah, I can't wait. So yeah, guys, I guess he gives it a 10 out of 10. My impressions are that it's absolutely outstanding.
It's
I
so good,
I can't wait to continue it. So yeah, buy it. I'd say do not buy on Steam, do not buy Raging Loop. Do not buy, I mean, if you're gonna, I don't know, I feel like on Steam one of the best VNs is going to be
Root Double and Umineko.
Yeah,
There's
Root Double and Umineko.
And I forgot always, because it's a Shibuya Scramble.
Yeah,
That's also,
you really like Shibuya Scramble. I trust you on that.
Because
yeah.
I guess I like Japanese culture, and I like actually
live
modern
action.
Japan, like, and something live action, current day stuff. So these are my recommendations that I give like easy a 10. But Root Double is my overall favorite, I guess. So guys, support it and buy it.
Yeah, check it out.
And more impressions will come, and I guess the next one after you finish Root after will be more like spoiler, like part way.
We'll be
spoiler.
making a video like very soon.
Yeah.
Guys. So anyway, thank you for listening to us for an hour.
Yeah,
Um,
that seemed just like 1 minute to me, and
yeah, he can talk forever. I actually can too, but he's actually played the game. So
yeah,
yeah,
so I have a
Um,
lot of things in mind.
he's gotten through. But anyway, guys, yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you,
And
guys.
we will see you with our next video. Take care.
Oh, yes.